Hello and welcome to today's Rocksmith developer stream. We are live coming from Ubisoft San Francisco and want to welcome you to today's stream. If you've never joined us before, we'd like to take a look at the last week's DLC this week. It is a 3-song pack from HAIM, Los Angeles-based three-sister group with some session musicians when they tour. So we're going to look at those songs. We're going to have some giveaways. We're going to answer your questions. All that coming up. Right now, let's take a look at the HAIM song pack. I'll be right back right after that.
Gonna be okay anyway. Always keep your heart locked tight. Don't let your mind read that. Oh, but I just couldn't take it. I tried not to beg it, but I fumbled and when it came down to the wire, it felt right. It felt right. Oh, but I fumbled and when it came down to the wire, it felt right. It felt right. Leaving all the weight behind. Take me back, take me back to the song how it used to go. Screaming for what was to come. Now I'm dreaming about the way I was. You say you will save me. You say you will save me. You say you will save me. You say you will. Take me back, give it up to me. 'Cause I can't go on if your love isn't strong. See, I want love, give me all your love. If you can't hold on, then baby, don't save me, baby. Don't save me, So come on, baby, come on and try to let it out, let go. We're still the same, so come on, baby, trigger the sound, let's figure it out. Let's get back to what I always started out. Hey, you, can't you look the same? I know, you ain't the one to play the game. I know, never gonna go your way. If you go, now I know. Really try to make it, but together we saw the end in sight. I'm tired of fighting the good fight. If you say the word, then I'll say goodbye. Wherever I say you and me, wherever I try for you and I. No, I never believed in the inside. Just another good reason to get it right.
Welcome back. There you have it, 3 songs from HAIM. And I didn't introduce myself. I am Doug Lilly. I'm your host and the community developer for Rocksmith. Right now, I want to go ahead and say hello to our first players of the day. Andrew Levin.
What up, dog?
How's it going? I wonder if you're on you are on camera.
Yeah,
welcome. And Francois Luong.
Hello.
Hello. So how are you guys doing today?
Yeah, pretty good.
Good.
I feel lied to you. I thought we were playing the Hansons.
No.
Hanson.
No. But you're all snazzy today. I'm decidedly not.
Did you just want to look good, or is there?
I have dates tonight.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
there you go.
So Don't Save Me is the song that you guys are going to play. And you note tracked this one.
I did, yeah.
What do we? So this group, they're different than a lot of the music that we have in the library. A bit poppy, like some pop rock, but there's like a very strong indie vibe, like an indie rock vibe to them. Technique-wise, what are we mostly looking at?
Yeah, so this song is, I think, probably the most simple of all of them. I listened to the other few songs, and I remember there was a bit more fancy guitar work. This song is simple. On guitar, it's mainly palm muted, kind of single note, or single note, syncopated. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah,
syncopated parts. And it's a really well crafted song. They were. At least I know the guitar player was a session musician before they started HAIM.
Yeah, yeah.
We were just talking about L'chaim. I have a hard time not saying. So I guess she was touring with Julian Casablancas. Is that right, from The Strokes?
That's what I read.
Yeah.
but the band is fairly new to me too, so.
Yeah.
So basically, we're sharing a lot of hearsay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I looked it up on Wikipedia
Oh, you did? Okay, okay,
on my
okay.
phone before this. And then she toured down touring contract with CeeLo Green.
For this group. for
Yeah.
HAIM.
So the reason I mentioned that is just because even though it's a simple part, it's a very well crafted part,
Okay.
and I think that it serves the song well.
All right, all
Yeah.
right. And bass also one of the.
Lots of arpeggiated power chords, except for the chorus where it's mostly single notes.
Just eighth
But
notes.
very bouncy lines.
Okay. All right. Well, let's have a bouncy good time. This is "Don't Save Me" by HAIM.
And actually, the guitar and bass play the same thing quite a bit.
Oh, and if you have questions, make sure to reach out to UB Jurassic in the chat.
Never thought that I would grow so old of seeing the go. Still, I never wanted to go. I would hold it up to my cold heart. Feel the way it used to start up. Take me back, take me back to the way that I was before. Hungry for what was to come. Now I'm longing for the way I was. Say you will save me. Say you will save me. Say you will save me. Say you will. Oh, take me back. Give it up to me. 'Cause I can't go on if your love isn't strong. See, I want it all. Give me all your love. If you can't hold on, then baby, don't save me now. Baby, don't save me now. All my life I wasn't trying to get on a highway. I was wondering which way to go. Spending all of my damn time, leaving all the way to behind. Take me back, take me back to the song how it used to go. Screaming for what was to come. Now I'm dreaming about the way I was. Say you will save me. Say you will save me. Say you will save me. Say you will. Oh, take me back. Give it up to me. 'Cause I can't go on if your love isn't strong. See, I want it all. Give me all your love. If you can't hold on, then baby, don't save me. Baby, don't save me. And if I had to beg for your love, tell me, would it ever be enough? Tell me. And if I had to beg for your love, tell me, would it ever be enough? So baby, don't save me. No, baby, don't save me. Baby, don't save me. Baby, don't save
Very bouncy, very syncopated, very fun. There was some conversation in the chat about the timing of that. Some questions. Is that song wholly in 4/4 to your, as far as you remember? Are we looking
Yeah.
at 4/4? But it does seem to sort of go back and forth between being syncopated and not, sort of starting on the downbeat or not.
Yeah.
There,
Yeah,
was, there,
so-
there were
yeah,
some people asking about the timing in that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. So it's all syncopated, but the verses start on beat 1,
Yeah.
and verses start on beat 1.
Uh-huh.
The pre-chorus starts on the and of 1, at least
Okay.
the guitar part, and then the chorus itself, is not very syncopated. It's kind of just whole notes washing, and then the last chorus is what I call a super chorus, and I think other people call it a super chorus as well.
What is a super chorus?
A super chorus is like the last chorus of the song when you make it big.
Okay.
Um,
Is that
and
with like studio vamping or
yeah,
some extra harmonies? later?
yeah. So,
So
I'll,
how was this? How was it made big?
I'll show you how. to
Okay,
make-
all right.
Make it big.
Digging it. I
Can
don't
I get a
think
clean,
that was the
clean
harmonies.
tone? There we go.
Ah, right.
Okay. So the choruses for most of the song just held out on a whole note. Baby, don't save me now. Right, just kind of held out, and then the end of the song.
Yeah.
You have this pre-chorus, which is this. Right? And then they take that same chorus, which is normally held out over a whole note, and they use that rhythm underneath. So,
Okay.
baby, don't save me, and that's just a device to kind of build tension. Another device that I think is worth mentioning, kind of to go with that syncopation concept, is the idea of taking different sections of a song and starting on different beats. Like when I'm working with beginners, one thing that I see quite a lot is a lot of times they'll start their melodies on beat 1 every time, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with starting your melodies or starting your guitar parts on beat 1, but to keep things more flavorful, more interesting, just doing something as simple as what they do here, which is moving that starting note an eighth note later. It's the difference between, so it kind of gives it the sense of movement that you wouldn't get.
Right.
I'll kind of demonstrate real quick. So the first verse is, and that's actually kind of got this hemiola pattern to it. Then
Yeah. And hemiola is, for the people, what's a hemiola?
like
Just tell
two rhythms against each other.
Okay.
But anyways, I can explain that deeper in a second. But anyway, so we've got this. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It gives it that sense of movement as opposed to
Right.
if I just went boom, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It sort of like springs up on you.
Yeah,
Sort of just
exactly.
propels the song. Yeah, that makes sense. That checks
Yeah.
out. I do have a couple of questions from
Sure.
the chat. Tonewood wants to know, I noticed some of the songs fade out while the guitar is still playing at the end, and some songs do not. Is there a way that the note trackers pick which songs play through the fade, and sort of when you might cut out when there's a fade?
Yeah, absolutely. So if there's a fade at the end of the song and there's not an obvious ending, it is pretty subjective. So my general feeling is if I can hear the guitars clearly and it's something that I think somebody would want to play,
Yeah.
then I'll usually note track it. And then, I'll play test it. And if it feels really uncomfortable, like I'm still really loud and the track is really quiet, I'll
Right.
shorten it. But, excuse me, it's just mainly, kind of a feel thing. Like,
Okay.
how does it feel while I'm playing? When I first started note tracking, I think that I wanted to look all cool, so I would make things go a little bit. I still want to look all cool, but I
Right.
really wanted to look cool then.
No, you look real cool. Don't
Thank
worry.
you. Yeah, I try. I mean,
If
you
only
know.
you had your glasses back.
Yeah, I know. I got to get those checked. But anyways, like one example is Fallen Angel by Poison.
Yes.
Like there's
Yeah.
a long guitar solo at the end there, and there's a big fade, and I was like, I'm transcribing all of it. I'm putting
Uh-huh.
it all in the game. And if you go into that, like there's like a whole section where he's like,
Like
going-
outro shredding.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and you're
yeah.
at full volume, and the whole thing is at like minus 32.
So it's just you. It's
Yeah.
just you were all you can hear. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And I did that, and I don't usually do that now.
So it's a subjective decision on the note trackers we have.
Mhm.
Note tracker Fiat. I guess
Exactly.
you could say. Okay, cool. Another question from John LR 2000. On the 5th fret, when you go from the A chord to chord, I believe it's a D chord, on the same 5th fret on the A string, how do you switch between those two? What's your method for switching between those chords rapidly?
Like a power chord?
Yeah, for
like-
the A5 like power chord to the D. Is it 7 with if you just have like 5 7 7 7?
So this guy right here.
Yeah, that guy.
And then for the A chord, are you talking about A major or A minor?
We'll say A major to that. Either one. I know how I do it.
Okay. I mean, I think that in general, as little movement as possible is always preferable. I would kind of just hop over and collapse,
Yeah.
right? Try not to move as much as I can.
So that's sort of what I tend to roll my fingers out.
Yeah.
Which is it can be a bit sloppy, but I think for that chord change specifically, I'm okay with being a little bit sloppy. Because if I let the E ring out, it's usually okay.
Yeah, and one thing I actually wanted to mention when it comes to switching between chords, one thing you'll hear quite a lot is like, let's say you have like A going to that D chord. Usually people, that last 16th note,
Yeah.
people are going to let go or mute it because it would sound kind of strange if I tried to go. Like that's a pretty difficult thing. You're rarely going to hear that. So a lot of times when you we account for that in the game. So a lot of times we'll make it an ignore strum at the end so that while you're playing, it's not going to grade you on that last note.
Right.
It
Because
sounds
it's a chord that technically exists in the song but might not ever be sounded or might only be sounded half the time. It's not necessarily a technique thing. It's just the way that the song or the function of the guitar in the song means it's not necessarily going to ring out.
Yeah, and I'd also really recommend if you're having trouble switching between those two chords.
Yeah.
While you're building up the, working on just moving and as you can kind of see here, I'm really not moving much. I'm not doing this. That's a really great way to slow down. But as you're kind of working on that and trying to make that more natural, the more times you do it correctly, the more the faster you're going to get at it. And one thing, too, to point out is if you're practicing it incorrectly, then you're going to get really good at doing it incorrectly. And it's going to get a lot harder to do it quickly. My number one suggestion for anybody trying to build up speed in any way is to use the metronome. Maybe give it 2 clicks on the metronome. 1, 2. Let's say you're at 100 beats per minute. That's around 100 beats per minute. And then speed up maybe 5 beats per minute. Just until you can't go any faster, and then put it down and come back the next day.
As fast as you can play it while still playing it correctly.
Exactly.
Basically. So so that you're not practicing playing it wrong, like you said.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Francois and Andrew again. Right now, we are going to give away our first Ernie Ball prize pack of the day. So please, in the chat, listen to what UB Jurassic is saying for your chance to win this week's Ernie Ball prize pack. Number 1. So that is UB Jurassic. That is Brian Turner. He is the community manager for Rocksmith. He's over in North Carolina. He was over here with us in San Francisco a few weeks ago, but now he's back home. So he is leading you through this raffle. If you win, you're going to get everything you see on your screen, including these 2 sets of strings, 1 6-string set, 1 4-string set, both regular Slinky from Ernie Ball. You're going to get a dozen Ernie Ball picks. I believe right now we have 0.77 gauge. I could be wrong on that, but I think they're medium to heavy. And you're going to get 3 of the Spectrum Plectrum picks from us here at Rocksmith. You're going to receive a black Ernie Ball guitar strap, a package of Ernie Ball Wonder Wipes that you can use to keep your strings lasting longer, your body and neck free of fingerprints, dust, and oils, just keeping it also lasting longer, looking nicer. You are going, I believe these are not scented. I could be wrong, but I think there's no scent for these Wonder Wipes. If you were wondering, sometimes, things are scented. These, I don't think are. You are also going to receive an Ernie Ball peg winder. Again, please listen to what UB Jurassic is saying in the chat. He will give you instructions on how you can win. You do have to be following our stream in order to win. That's following at Rocksmith Game here on Twitch. And if you win, he's going to reach out to you and whisper, so make sure you have your whispers turned on so that you can receive the question from UB Jurassic. And he's going to ask you your full name, your shipping address, and your telephone number. We need all that information in order to ship your prize out to you. So if you win, make sure you look out for that whisper, and make sure you send all of that information to Brian. And then again, if you are outside of the U.S., please split up your address line by line to make it a little bit easier on me, because sometimes I'm dumb and I have to, if I don't look it up right, you might not get to you, and I don't want that to happen. I want to make sure that you get your prize, so please just split up your address line by line so I know how to format it correctly for you in your country. Right now, I think we're about ready to say hello to our next guests of the day. So if you'll join me over here, Greg Studley, Amy Batista, welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. How are you not talking?
Just, waving to the crowd,
Okay.
taking it all in. You
Okay.
know.
Has anything changed here?
Niners are in the.
I was going to say, I think
Niners
that hat
Yeah.
says it all, doesn't it?
Oh,
Niners
yeah.
are in the- for the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Mhm.
You ready for the Super Bowl?
Not really, but yes.
Yeah, I'm not ready.
I always
all.
stretch.
Oh, yeah?
Well, you don't
That's
want to
good.
You don't want to pull a muscle
Right,
while you're
right,
watching
right.
it.
Yeah,
you
no, I was
know.
thinking you'll just wreck your forearm.
Exactly.
So the
That's good.
two of you are playing forever.
We are.
We are.
Which
We are never
you're,
going
You're
to
never
stop.
going to wait. I hope everyone is locked in because we're going to be here for a while. If
We're on
we
it.
are playing forever. Forever. So you're taking lead bass, and you know this is one of your songs.
Mm-hmm.
Did you do it? Did I assign it to you?
You did,
Okay.
or I just took it.
Well, okay.
Could have just
Yeah, that's
stolen
possible.
it.
That's possible. What are we looking for in Forever?
Well, you're going to be looking forward to me being very jealous
Okay.
because as I was relearning this today,
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, the bass
bass
part."
is
I
way-
was like, "Why did I not take the bass part?" But then I was like, "You know what? Emmy's my friend, so I'm gonna."
I could have done rhythm.
No, the bass
Yeah.
part's good. I'm
Yeah.
actually glad you're
Okay.
playing it. A whole lot of palm muting in the guitar
Okay.
part, though.
Okay.
So if palm muting's not your thing, this is
This
a great
could
song
make
to
it-
get. Yeah, this is a great song to get used to. It 'cause
And are we
there's
looking
a
at-
whole lot of it.
Are we looking at all downstrum palm mutes, or are we looking at
Yeah,
upstrum?
you could play it either way. I don't remember from the videos which way she played it.
Okay.
But either technique would work. And there's also a nice little thing where you start off with a single note palm muted technique, but then it kind of evolves into a 2-note technique.
Yeah.
So it's cool. You kind of see how like evolution of a riff can happen within a song.
Gotcha. And what are we looking at on the bass? Since that was apparently the choice path for this song.
Well, I don't know. I didn't look at it. I was just listening to it when I listened to the song.
Amy, what are we looking at on the bass?
A lot of movement. A lot of movement. They said when I was doing the practice thing, they're like, "Oh, do a ninja slide," and I was like, "Well, this is going to be interesting."
So a lot of slides.
So that slides.
Okay. All right. Well,
Thanks.
let's take a look at it, and we can talk about what we saw after we've seen it. This is Forever by HAIM.
Remember me, remember love, remember trying to stay together my time. Oh, you took it all, you tried to see, you tried to bring yourself up without involving me. It isn't fair to have you way, to try to get up and go, well, na, can't you see? It isn't fair to have you way, but I'm trying to get your attention. I need you to know that. Can't you make the same? I know you ain't the one to play the game. I'm never gonna go your way. If you go, well, now I know. Forever we tried to make it right, but together we suffer and inside. I'm tired of fighting a good fight. If you say the word, then I'll say goodbye. Forever I say you and me. Forever I try for you. No, I never believed in their inside. Just another good reason to get around. I don't wanna turn around. So come on, baby. Come on and try to let it out. Let go. We're still the same. So come on, baby. Trigger the sound. Let's figure it out. Let's get back to what I always started out. Hey, can't you make the same? I know you ain't the one to play the game.
Don't worry, it's in the rhythm part. Stop freaking out, everybody.
Is it all palm mutes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You also have to play it with your mind.
And your heart.
Or you sing, this whole entire part?
I mean, you can still play it if you want to. As long as you don't miss your actual part, like I just did.
Well, we were enjoying the rhythm part.
Try to make it right, but together we saw the end inside. I'm tired of fighting the good fight. If you say the word, then I'll say goodbye. I say you and me. I try for you and I. No, I'll never believe in their inside. It's just another good reason to get it right. Forever we try to make it right, but together we saw the end inside. I'm tired of fighting the good fight. If you say the word, then I'll say goodbye. Forever I say you and me. Forever I try for you and I. No, I'll never believe in their inside. It's just another good reason to get it right. Forever we try to make it right. Forever we try to make it right. Forever we try, forever we try. Forever we try, Dang it.
Yeah.
That part.
What happened?
I missed that part
Oh.
every single time in
Oh, no.
practice too. I was like,
It's because you practice missing it, like what Andrew was saying
yeah,
earlier.
I practiced it wrong.
No, you guys did great. So yeah, that part reminds me a lot of the Modest Mouse song "Dashboard." Has a very similar sort of very rhythmic lead part, a lot of palm mutes, a lot of fret hand mutes, but it's mostly about just maintaining that textural rhythm throughout the song.
It is. I mean,
Yeah.
the bass really controls the groove, but it is. It's just, it's like a melodic texture. Normally,
Yeah.
textures are more like harmonic elements, but this is more like a melodic texture because it really stays very. When it's played, it doesn't vary much.
Yeah.
Meaning, it's just like when you hear that riff, it is that riff, and it's just solid every time. So
Okay.
it totally works.
Cool. Do have a question for you. Let me take a look at it. Okay, this is from Tufty McTavish. This one
Hey,
is
Tufty.
specifically for you. When note tracking, what makes you favor string bending with your pinky versus sliding over one position to use your ring finger, your third finger?
Oh, that's a fair question. So sometimes it depends on what we see in the videos. From video evidence, if like, the player is most certainly moving over to use their third finger, sometimes we'll show that. One of the other instances that might determine is if you're going to bend and then have to hit another note with your pinky,
Yeah.
that is probably the most determining factor. One of the things we do try and do, though, is, if you're doing one of those, ideally, we try to make it so the note way doesn't move back and forth unless it needs
Right.
to, just for ease of reading what's coming at you. So a lot of times, if you do see that the note way doesn't move and you have to play this note with what looks like the pinky and follow it by a bend,
Yeah.
feel free to use your third finger if that is your more comfortable method. Though I would recommend that if you're one of the people who chooses to primarily play with three fingers and not bend with your pinky, learn how to do it. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
real thing, because your pinky it's the weakest finger, but it can be trained
So
to totally bend like everything.
so learn how to bend with your pinky, but also learn how to know when to bend with your pinky, I guess, because that's something that I think I was asking Brian Chu about this a few weeks ago, because I was with those sort of high necked bends, especially those oblique bends where you did have to bend on the B string and then hit the E string. That he recommended, even if the anchor zone has the pinky as what should be doing the bending, if it's high enough on the neck that you can just reach, keeping your hand anchored where it's shown with your first finger in the first anchor point, you just reach over with your third finger.
Yeah,
and
very
that's fine.
common. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say there's a specific number because it kind of depends on your hand.
Yeah.
But roughly, when you get over this 12th fret, the frets get, like, especially if you're up by 15 and you're trying to bend with your pinky, like at that point, my fingers are squished.
They're in their own way.
Yeah, I
that
mean,
point, yeah.
I can do it, but everything is really tight, and it's actually just more comfortable to do that very slight spread and catch it with the third finger instead. Lower on the neck, though, you're actually going to have to do a really big reach in
Yeah.
order to be able to get that.
Yeah.
So it does very much depend on where you are on the neck. I would advise, if you can, when you're lower on the neck and you need to go from like first finger to fourth and then bend, just learn how to do that bend. When you get higher up on the neck, an octave higher than that,
That's when you
feel
can
free to just use that third
switch over
finger
because
instead.
you're barely moving it over.
Barely. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good to me. And just practice. I guess practice those bends up and down the neck so you get to know where along the neck you're comfortable switching between your pinky and your.
And also
your
making
ring
sure
finger.
you know your target note. I mean, there's a couple ways to do it. This is one thing I used to teach my students was play the thing that you want to bend, and then
Oh,
see
I
if you
see, I
can
see.
find that same note, because everywhere you bend is a different amount.
Right.
Because the notes are literally closer together when you get up here. So, practice it in different places. Find the sound just using the frets themselves. And, you'll hear if you're off because you've heard the sound correct, and then you'll go,
And you're like, whoopsie.
Yeah.
But it's also important to stretch your, like when I was playing Love in the Elevator, it's
Yeah.
it's your fourth finger, ring in your pinky, and it's like holy. So you have to practice.
Right. Practice. So yeah, just practice bending with your ring finger. Practice bending with your pinky.
and
Alternate.
always know where your target note is. That one of the most important things for bends is to be aware of what, either have something like a chord playing
Yeah.
in the background that you can reference what the note is supposed to sound
Sure.
like, or play it yourself first and then try and make that same sound with the bend.
So
'cause-
this might be a good thing to practice in session mode.
oh, totally,
Here-
yeah, because
yeah.
the music's going to be right there behind you. So if you can have, the session mode band playing behind you when you're doing those bends, you'll know if you hit that target. Just keep your ears open for what you're playing.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you both very much. That seems very helpful. Right now, we are going to take a short break. We're going to watch a video about how all this works. So if this is your first time visiting us here on the Rocksmith developer stream, if you've never played Rocksmith before, or if you're just getting into it, this video will give you a better idea of what Rocksmith is all about. While we're having that video, we're going to give away 5 copies of this week's song pack, the HAIM song pack on Steam. What you talking about?
I'm just verifying
Okay.
the number 5.
Five copies, 5
Those are
codes
no
for this
trust.
week's song pack on Steam. Listen to V Jurassic for your chance to win that, and we'll be right back.
Rocksmith's giving me that confidence that I can learn to play the guitar and master it completely.
I've struggled with every other way, and I found this way to be the best. And that's like an honest fact.
I put on my bass, I plug it into my computer, and I'm playing real music. I'm playing an actual song right out of the box.
I've got some sweet, awesome guitar riffs that I can pull out anytime.
There are songs that I was struggling with, and now I'm just like, this is easy.
Rocksmith 2014 provides a comprehensive, complete package for learning the guitar. Whether you want to learn a song, whether you want to compete, whether you want to create your own music, you have everything you need or could desire with playing the guitar.
Rocksmith comes with a real-tone cable that allows you to plug your electric guitar or bass directly into your PlayStation 3 system, the Xbox 360, your PC or Mac.
Rocksmith features over 50+ songs right there on the disc. We also have an expansive library of over 200 songs available to download.
When you start playing a song on Rocksmith, it starts off very easy, with just one note at a time. We then use a system called dynamic difficulty that adjusts the level based on how you're doing.
As you play and you prove that you can get it right, it will actually level you up. It's responding dynamically to your skill level.
Within any song, there's some part that is difficult or some part that's going to be difficult for the person learning it. What Rocksmith allows you to do with the riff repeater is to go in there, isolate that particular section of the song or the riff that is difficult, and really allows you to repeat it and work on it, change it in a way that you can learn it, and then you can go back and put what you've learned into the song.
We all can use tools to help our students. The mini games, they're basically guitar exercises that I've taught many times, but disguised in like a really fun interactive game. And I could see where a student that's struggling to learn their chords could probably do it for an hour and not even realize that they were actually practicing, but they're really improving.
I really like the session mode where it kind of opens up the possibility for you to kind of freeform and also gives you a roadmap of where to play within that key. And then the kind of feel of, you know, just throwing you changes once in a while like a real band will.
It's very much like playing a video game, but it's obviously this learning software that is much more than that.
Games, because of the feedback involved, are much more effective at teaching people than if people just learn the concepts from a book or a lecture.
Earlier this year, RSG was commissioned to conduct a research project. We pre-recruited approximately 200 people nationally, gave them the software to use at home for 3 weeks. A large majority noticed a significant improvement of their guitar skills. Their speed and movement on the fret improved significantly. Rocksmith was considered the fastest way to learn guitar.
I learned so much in 60 days. I didn't think I would have picked it up as quickly as I did. I'm super comfortable with all the techniques, everything, so it's great.
With the 60-day challenge, I was able to play things that I had thought impossible with ease, and it was not a problem at all. Rocksmith is definitely the fastest way to learn the guitar. I don't know if I could have learned the guitar any other way.
If you want to learn, Rocksmith is the way to go. I can't believe that I've learned so much in such a small amount of time.
I would definitely recommend Rocksmith to other people. In fact, I have.
Rocksmith costs way less than any private lessons you can do.
Rocksmith works because it's fun, it's entertaining.
I've told people about Rocksmith. They're like, oh yeah, I've heard about this Rocksmith. I'm like, do it, it works.
Hello and welcome back to today's Rocksmith developer stream. With me right now is the incomparable Dan Amrich.
Am I incomparable?
Incomparable.
I wish I were more comparable for you. That way it would be easier to.
To whom or what would you like to be comparable?
To you. I would like to be comparable to like remember how comparable Dan is to Doug, like because they had the same job once upon a time.
Yeah.
No,
let's not talk about.
I'm incomparable because you're so much better at my job. That's what it is. You can't compare the work that I did to the work that he's doing as your community developer because he's better at the job.
They will argue that in the chat right now. Right, I am.
They will say, "Yep, Dan's right.
Currently
he
being
stinks."
Destroyed in the chat right now. Thanks to you. Hello, internet. So one thing you have to remember that I'm learning when you're playing on the stream: don't put the communal picks in your mouth.
This is okay. This is going to be the discussion then because I do it all the time. I brought mine because this is one for this song that felt comfortable because I'm playing something a little bit different than what I would normally do. So I all the time.
Right.
I kiss my wife with a pick in my mouth all the time.
To come
It's
up
just,
here.
Yeah.
And you grab one from
yeah,
the
and
box.
you're like, oh,
who knows?
There's a tray of picks that we keep back here, and God knows whose saliva is on there.
See.
And then suddenly, everybody in the office is sick.
Right. And we wonder why.
How does that happen?
When you come in,
I don't know.
That's an awful lot
There's
of.
a bug going around.
office
Make sure you lick the pick.
Yeah.
Hashtag lick the pick.
Gross. So we were looking at, or I was looking at bands songs.
Yeah, it's your job
for,
now.
For
It's
the
not
bonus,
my job to
for
lick
the
the
bonus
bands
track.
anymore. Yeah.
It's been over a year, Dan.
I know.
Looking at songs to use for the bonus, and HAIM is very, like I mentioned earlier, very different than most anything else that we have.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to put your finger on it.
Probably the closest thing we had was Tegan Sara, but that's pretty new. And I like to leave like a good 6 month.
You like to dig into the deep, rich 1,400 song archives that we have.
That is right.
Close to 1,400, I think.
15.
Oh, are we?
Yeah.
Are we actually? Did we knock on the door? 15?
No, we kept releasing DLC after you stopped being.
Oh, I didn't realize. I thought we were just recycling. This was just stuff that I hadn't heard.
No. yeah, we're over.
Well, congratulations to you, Doug, for making that happen.
And also, I had nothing to do with that. So I didn't want to do Tegan and Sara because we played it very recently. It released recently. So we went slightly different direction. I don't know if anybody, they were trying to guess in the chat. You all were trying to guess. At least Toy Machine was trying to guess what the bonus track would be, and we went with The Killers. Somebody told me there's a loose connection.
What would that be?
I
I'll
believe
tell you there's a loose connection.
I believe the drummer from HAIM played drums on an encore with The Killers.
That is a very loose connection.
Yeah,
that's
but it
like
was
6
enough for me.
degrees of wow.
And I like this bass tone.
Yeah, and I said, he said, yeah, I'm going to do that. Do you want to play on it? I'm like, yeah. What's the rhythm part? There is no rhythm part. And I went, I don't play lead guitar. I think people know that I'm not very confident in my lead guitar skills. Doug says, look at the track because it's very percussive. It's basically chords, and it is.
Yeah.
There's one guitar part. And instead of being copied over to the rhythm part, which is what the note trackers eventually started doing, this predates that. That's how old the track is. So yeah, I'll be playing lead, and there are some single note things, and I'll bet you I mess it up.
Maybe look,
it's a lot of fun to play because it's the kind of rhythm guitar I like to play.
So,
but
so what you're saying is we both probably should have practiced more.
I practiced right up until the point that I had to come up and start helping run the board for the stream.
Sure.
So
also, Bad Jack.
Bad Jack.
Bad
The post-it says Bad Jack because this was the bass you were using.
Yeah.
And people have a bad habit in the office, which is a guitar broke, something's wrong, a string is broken, or it's got a bad jack on the thing. And so they just put it away, and they don't tell anybody that it needs attention.
Just like hang it on a different hanger than it usually is.
Yeah, like at least put a post-it on it. So
Yeah.
I try to make time to repair small things like that I'm not great at it, but I've learned a lot in the last year, and helps me be able to maintain the office instruments, and I'm proud to do that. But nothing bothers me more than just like, oh, yeah, I'm going to grab this. Oh, don't do that. I think it's broken. What do you mean you think it's broken? Why didn't at least put a post-it on it that says this is what's wrong with it? Or just bring it over to my desk. I have a 7-rack of guitars, half of which are broken.
Somebody in this office, probably Dan, can fix it.
Yeah.
So just let
I mean,
Dan know.
Pody, if he's around, he can fix it better, and
I don't know
probably just using his mind powers, but I
Yeah,
have to
maybe,
use a soldering iron. So I brought in a jack, but I haven't had time to replace that jack.
Right.
So the bass is now nicknamed Bad
Bad
Jack
Jack.
because
Bad Jack.
it's both its identity and its
Was that the character in Fable? What was that?
I don't know.
Jack of Blades. Okay.
Jack of Blades.
No,
right.
it's a little bit. It's close.
Regardless, we're going to
Bad
play
Jack.
the Killers.
Yeah, the Killers.
Because the drummer
Somebody
played
told me
with this band once.
And it's indie rockish.
And Doug is far more self-indulgent as a comic than I was, obviously.
Yeah. I don't know,
So yeah,
some
I will
options.
try to play the lead guitar path, even though lead guitar path is very
Self-indulgent by trying to get Dan to play a lead track. Where am I? There I am.
the most fun part. Yeah. Love the disco beat. super chorus.
Now I get it.
Yeah.
Super chorus.
Super chorus.
Yeah.
That's exactly what, like you
Yeah,
could
yeah.
feel the energy build. There was
Yeah.
more like bass in the mix, and it just sort of like
Yeah.
the energy went up by
I actually-
12%, and
I
that's
really
a super
should
chorus.
practice that chorus more. Though.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of got lost up there a little bit on my solos, but I was pretty happy overall. And I can't help but play that with a half feel. Like the strums are all straight.
Yeah.
But I always want to go.
Gotcha. Which sounds very, very policey.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah,
no,
super ska.
Did
yeah.
you just invent ska?
No, no, I did not. Look, I've done a lot of bad things in my life.
Oh, come on.
But I'm not going to be blamed for ska.
Dan, some people really like ska.
I like ska. I just recorded a ska song. Available at danemmerich.bandcamp.com.
Sorry,
But,
what was that?
Hey, see, that's how you do a segue, Greg. Where's Greg?
Hey, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, I just, ska is something, it's sad. It's like polka, like there's it's such a specific genre that it's easy to use it as a punchline.
Right.
But I do enjoy it.
Okay.
Pick it up.
What do we have coming up?
I have no idea. I think we probably have other songs, such as
there's
The
one more-
Killers, that
there
you
is
may
one more
have
song.
missed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
In
case you
we
missed
may
it.
have missed something. So thank you very much, Dan, for bringing that up.
What did I do?
You reminded me, in case you missed it.
Oh.
What am I doing? What are we doing here? We mentioned actually both of these groups. In case you missed them, were mentioned just moments ago. Mentioned the Tegan and Sara song pack. I'm trying to get out from under this bass, which is why I might sound a little funny because I'm wearing a hat and there's cables and things to deal with. But that's none of your concern. What you're worried about is things in case you missed them. So Tegan and Sara came out very recently. It was a 3-song pack that included everything you see here on your screen: "Walking with a Ghost," "Call It Off," and "The Con." Again, a set, this time a duo of siblings making poppy sort of indie rock music. Also, The Killers. If you agree with me and think that The Killers have some sort of connection to HAIM, then that pack might do something for you. In the Killers song pack, there was Somebody Told Me, which you just heard, Runaway, Mr. Brightside, Spaceman, and When You Were Young. The Tegan and Sara song pack came out just last June 2019, and then the Killers song pack, a bit older, 2014, back in October. Check those songs out, and if there's some more stuff that you think that might be more along these lines that you want to let us know, some songs you want to recommend, just head over to rocksmith.com. There is a song request button at the top of that page. You can press that and let us know what other songs, what other artists you would like to hear in Rocksmith. We check that. That is one of the ways that we use to decide what music comes to a Rocksmith. Check that out. It is rocksmith.com, and just look for Request a Song. And now I would like to say hello to our final guests of the day. Hello, final guest of the day, Brian Shu.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Brian.
Hi, it's Brian, everybody. And Akshay.
Ska's back, baby.
Ska's back. Were you a big ska head?
I mean, not really.
What
I like Real Big Fish.
Is
like it.
ska head without being insulting? Is there a name for people who listen, like fans of ska? Is there a name for that?
I regret saying anything now because now I'm the ska expert.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
No.
Ska
kid from the back.
Depends on okay, so I guess it's a generational thing. Depends if you're talking like
there is
third wave ska.
Definitely
so
generations of ska.
Like
Yeah.
Dub. Even more ska or dub?
Dub, isn't that closer to like reggae?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They all
Which
have
are all like they're
roots.
all connected.
Yeah. Everything's connected.
Everything's
Akshay.
connected, man. Whoa. Whoa.
Apparently, the audience is also hearing some of the left side audio going in and out. We apologize. We thought that was only something that we here in the studio heard.
Oh.
But apparently, people at home are also hearing the left channel
Yeah, I was
disappear.
noticing that.
Apologies for that. We will investigate following this stream. Brian, Akshay, you're playing the last song in the HAIM song pack, "The Wire."
Is it HAIM? I've always
HAIM.
pronounced it HAIM.
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 I think it's a diphthong.
Yeah.
It's a
Hi,
strong
I'm Brian.
diphthong. Hi, I'm Brian.
Hi, I'm Brian. Hi, I'm actually. Yeah, there you go.
I'm Doug.
It's like, you're not Brian.
But I mean, you look in the studio. Somebody says I'm Brian, you're probably gonna believe him. Like there's a
That's
good
true.
chance.
There's quite a few. Yeah,
a lot of Brians.
There's
is
still
what we're saying.
a bunch of Brians.
Yeah. We try to get rid of them, but they just
keep coming back. Yeah, man.
That was mean.
That was mean. We
We appreciate
at
you.
the Dollar Tree, so that's where they find us.
What do we have in the wire? What's this part all about?
It sounds a lot like another 80s, like a 80s tune.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah. We're talking like new wavy, like synth pop. What are we talking?
Yeah. Kind of like I don't know, a certain band, Crying 'Cause You're Scared. Whoa. I don't know that one at all.
Yeah, me neither.
Sorry. Is that like a Bay Area local thing, or like
is that something that I should be ashamed for
Tears
not knowing?
for Fears?
Okay.
I don't know.
Tears for Fears. Are you going
stupid joke?
Oh.
Anyways.
I see.
Gotcha.
See
got
what
him.
you did there.
Got me. Did you
Well,
see it? Did you see?
The stream is over.
Yeah.
That's
See?
it. What did you?
Did you see what I did?
I do see what you did there.
It wasn't good.
Okay.
I'm still trying to figure it out, but the bass is not very hard. I realized it's all triplets. Like it's very simple note progression, whatever. But I should have practiced using 3 fingers to strum, because that makes it a lot easier to do the pattern,
the
gallop rather too. So I'm gonna try it now for the first time.
Oh, you're gonna try
stream.
the 3-finger strum?
Yeah, it's really hard to just not do it da-da-da and then have a long pause between starting up again. But
Sure.
I don't
Okay.
know.
well, I mean, if you need to alternate, we can watch and see which works out better for you.
You'll be able to tell, because I'll be like,
yeah. Try to. It's a family friendly stream.
I will keep the cusses
to a minimum. All right.
Yeah, I was about to say it's less of a less of a triplet thing and more of like a 6/8 kind of thing, right? Like 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4. Okay,
5, 6,
sure.
1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4,
Yeah.
But you can play it with a triplet feel. I mean, you can play it
it's
like a triplet.
fast, but that's fast. The song in my head, it's like a 4/4 thing, right? Like
We'll take a look, and we can all come back with our. We'll come up with our own conclusions. So this is The Wire by HAIM.
You can count it both ways. It's divisible. You're right, Brian.
This is in 4.
You know I'm bad at communication. It's the hardest thing for me to do, and it's the most important part that relationships are good.
Oh, I guess this was transcribed.
Yeah.
Just so I could say that. But I know that you're gonna be okay anyway. You know there's no rhyme or reason for the way you turned out to be. I didn't go and try to change my mind, and not intentionally. You know it's hard to hear you say it, but I can't bear to stay. I just know that you're gonna be okay anyway. Always keep your heart locked tight. Don't let your mind read by. Oh, but I just couldn't take it. I tried to beg it, but I fumbled, and when it came down to the wire, it felt right. It felt right.
This always reminds me of the ending song.
Okay, I can hear that. There it is.
It's even the same key, I think.
Gonna be okay anyway. Always keep your heart locked tight. Don't let your mind read by. Oh, but I just couldn't take it. I tried to beg it, but I fumbled, and when it came down to the wire, it felt right. It felt right. But I fumbled, and when it came down to the wire, it felt right. It felt right. But I fumbled, and when it came
There's some ska right there. Is that ska?
Always keep your heart locked in. Don't let your mind read that.
I got the snaps. Don't worry about
Your
it.
heart locked in. Don't let your mind read that.
Oh, here we go.
Just gonna take it to you. Try not to beg it, but I fumbled and when I came down to the wire. But I'm just gonna take it to you. Try not to beg it, but I fumbled and when I came down to the wire. It felt right. But I fumbled and when I came down to the wire. It felt right. But I fumbled and when I came down to the wire.
Would I be wrong in calling this a new wave song? And this possibly a new,
New
like
wave
a
ska?
ladder,
Or
like
like
a second.
it's very new wave.
It's very like there is a lot
like,
of new wave
can
going
you
on.
hear the Tears for Fears?
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, the
influence in
sort of
it?
plucky.
Yeah, I mean, and then kind of like the little guitar fills are everywhere. It's very reminiscent.
Yeah.
Of that
So this is a new wave song. I'm gonna say I'm calling it now.
Declaring it.
I'm declaring
with
it. It has
authority.
been decided.
I don't know.
Yeah. So your high gain bass with that tone.
If HAIM doesn't agree,
sounded
then
great.
It's actually pretty good. Yeah,
It sounded really good. What'd you say?
If HAIM doesn't agree, then it's your head on the line.
Right. They probably won't hear about this from me. They probably won't hear me
Oh,
say that.
come on, man.
Even if they did, new wave, like that's not like an insulting thing. It's not an accusation. Not to me. I like new wave.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
But
what
no,
counts.
That
really.
that
the
high
tone
gain
worked
bass
really
was-
well. Yeah,
It did. It popped.
Two
real
9
nice.
volts.
Two
Pumping
9
it to you.
volts and a and a
Nice.
microphone.
And
Yeah. So pretty straightforward, but a lot of movement, a lot of very very rhythmic focus. So if you need to
Yeah.
work on alternating between palm mutes, fret hand mutes, and just strung strings, this is a good pack, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That
Kinda
last
jumps
song,
around.
like Rocksmith is not the best at like accurately telling you if you're getting the actual rhythms of like a sustained note, like correct. So, record yourself
and
with your
listen.
phone, and then listen back to it, and then see how
A
how
lot-
long it takes before
and
you.
a lot of people will play through a splitter, so they'll play through their amp,
Sure,
and
yeah.
then have another output going into their PC,
Yeah.
or console.
Because I know I did not gallop the entire way
Sure.
through that song.
And there's
It was
also
hard.
There's
Yeah.
also
It's good practice.
There's a mixer. So if you can't
True.
hear yourself that well, you
Mhm.
can always turn down the game volume and keep your volume, like your guitar volume, all the way up.
But the note trackers have said before, I think, that like recording yourself and then listening back to it afterward
It
is
is a
really
really
good to
great-
actually like
Yeah.
really realize what you're playing.
Recordings don't lie.
Recordings don't lie. Yes.
So
It's like when you hear yourself speaking and you say, "Do I sound like that?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Sorry.
what you sound
Sorry.
like.
That's what you sound like.
Oh, boy. That's why I never listen to these VODs.
Yeah, me too. Okay.
Anyway.
I think that's great. I think we're all set here. Thank you
Cool.
again, Brian, Akshay, for swinging by, playing
course.
some HAIM. Right now, we're going to give away our final Ernie Ball prize pack of the day. So once more, please listen to what UB Jurassic is saying in the chat. That is Brian Turner. He is your community manager based out of North Carolina. If you win, you're going to see everything on the screen. 2 sets of strings from Ernie Ball, both regular Syncy sets, 1 for your 6-string guitar, 1 for your 4-string bass. You're going to get a dozen picks from Ernie Ball. These are the Everlast picks. You're going to get 3 picks from us, the Spectrum Plectrums. You are going to receive a black Ernie Ball guitar strap, a package of Ernie Ball Wonder Wipes, which is going to have different pieces for your strings, your body, and your guitar's neck. You are also going to receive a peg winder from Ernie Ball. All of this can be yours if you listen to what UB Jurassic says in chat and are the lucky winner of the upcoming raffle. And again, you do need to follow the channel, and Brian will contact the winner via Whisper to get your name, your shipping address, and your telephone number one more time. We do need all of that information, and if you're outside of the U.S., please break up your address line by line for my sake so that I can get your package to you. I want to thank you again for stopping by on today's Rocksmith developer stream. I've been Doug Lilly. If you want to know what's coming up, well, here's something for you. Tomorrow morning, roughly 10 a.m. Eastern time, UB Jurassic is going to post a clue that will be sent to us by fellow community member RS222, that's Rolling Stone 222, who makes these clues for you to solve. Once you solve the clue, that's going to give you your first insight into next week's pack. You're going to end up with a pack name, song name, and an artist name for at least one song. So look for that on the forums tomorrow morning. Again, you can go to rocksmith.com, click the link at the top to get to the forums, and I'm sure it's being posted here in chat right now. Otherwise, we will see you next week, and if you don't see the clue, if you don't see what we announce early on Sunday and Monday, we'll post some more information about what's coming on our social media pages. We are on Twitter and Instagram at RocksmithGame, spelled just like it is here on Twitch. And on Facebook, we are just facebook.com/Rocksmith, and it'll send you to the right page for your region. Thanks again for joining us. We will see you next Thursday. No encore stream this month, but that will hopefully return next month in February. So until then, here's one more look at HAIM, and I'll see you next week.
Gonna be okay anyway. Always keep your heart locked tight. Don't let your mind read that. Oh, but I just couldn't take it. I tried not to beg it, but I fumbled and when it came down to the wire, it felt right. It felt right. Oh, but I fumbled and when it came down to the wire, it felt right. It felt right. Come on, baby, trigger the sound. Let's figure it out. Let's get back to what I always started out. Hey, you, can't you look the same? I know, you ain't the one to play the game. I know, I'm never gonna go your way. If you go, well, now I know. Whenever it's yet to make you right, but together we solve the end inside. I'm tired of fighting the good fight. If you say the word, then I'll say goodbye. I see you and me. Wherever I chat for you and I know I never believed in the other side.